go. All right. Hello, good afternoon, everybody. Sorry I missed you guys last week. It was my daughter's 3rd birthday, Groundhog's Day, and the Super Bowl. So a really busy day all around. So I'm sorry I did not go live with you guys to talk about trading. I do have the 2020 CMT Symposium up. That's going to be the next trading event that I will be at. If you want to come and chat with me in person, I will be there. And then, of course, you guys know I'm hosting the Modern Trader Summit. If you missed your early bird, early pricing seating, it is still available. You can still, however, there was an increase in price. The early bird pricing ended February 1st. We also added an amazing new speaker, Michelle Snyder. She has been trading for over 40 years. She has been teaching at Market Gauge over the last 20 years and is a great individual. Very happy to have her on board. She does a bit more of the overall, longer term investing, swing trading approach. However, you can apply that to shorter time frames as well if you are day trading. So definitely I'm very happy to announce that Mish will be on board for the event, as well as we also have Jeremy Alexander Newsom, myself, Andrew Aziz, and Kunal. So definitely, check it out. Come out in person. It's an amazing, amazing event. And this year we are having 2 days of trading. So let's go ahead and get into the watch list for the week. You know what? I didn't put it up on the side and I totally should have. It's all right. So as always, I'll give you guys my little disclaimer while that's loading. I used to have my Series 7 back in 2000, 20 years ago now, and unfortunately it is not current. So all of these stocks that we go over are my personal opinions, so please keep that in mind. Please trade with proper due diligence, as there are risks in trading any sort of securities instruments. So please keep that aware. All right. Can you guys hear me okay? I didn't even ask that because you guys haven't even put anything in the chat. If you have any questions, just put it on up in the chat. I'll just look up to the right. That's where I have the chat box. And we'll go ahead and we will get into the list for the week. But first of all, let's start off with the options. Awesome. Thanks, CoinFox. Okay, so the SPY, right? Everybody's like, uh-oh, look at this. We've got this hammer up here. Maybe we're going to be heading down. Really, what I'm looking at back here is we had this really big consolidation week. We dropped below that level. Boom, we came down, right? We hit the 50 simple moving average. Let me turn off the volume profiles here. That'll probably help make it clearer for everybody. So I just extended the box out with these lines right here so I could see it a bit better. We came down, we bounced off the 50 simple moving average. Larger than normal volume came in, right? And then we went up and we curled up above the averages, a little overextended, far away from the averages. So we came back and we really tested it. And we closed literally right on the top edge, 32.24. You can see that they match. 32.24 for this consolidation box that had happened back here the middle of January, right? And then we dropped down, bounced up, dropped down, and then we ran up again. So was this consolidation period selling or buying? We don't know. Apparently it looked like it was selling here, right? Because we dropped all the way down. Then this volume came in and then they took it back up, and now it could potentially act as support. I'm also in the process of getting my CMT and doing the studies for level 1, so you'll probably hear a lot more of the technical analysis coming into the charts as well. Looking at it in that reflection, I don't have colored candlesticks because I don't want to be psyched out psychologically. I just want to look at the facts of the chart, right? So we had a little bit more volume than the past 4 days, and it seems to have found support right here. All right, let's go into QQQ. And let's see. Now, obviously, Apple is a major component of QQQ. So that same week, right, we were looking at the 16th. So here we had a little bit of consolidation, nothing too crazy. Yet we broke way above it. And we didn't come down and touch the 4 EMA right here, but we could bounce off of it on Monday. So QQQ is looking more bullish at the moment than the SPY. And let's look at the Russell 2000. So Russell 2000, we had this downturn here. Again, that was the week of consolidation that we had back in January, and then a massive sell-off. We came below the 50 simple moving average. However, the averages moved back up, and now we've closed just above it. We just bounced above it. So we shall see if this 50 simple moving average is going to hold. If we go back in history, right, we look at it, it didn't act as support too much in the past, right? Seems more like this 21, this green dotted line, really acted as support, and we just closed below that. So this week should be pretty interesting to see where the markets are going to go, whether it's going to be a downturn point or an upturn. Let's look at the Dow Jones Industrial Average. So this is going to be fairly similar to the SPY. You can see we had this downward turn, again, that consolidation week. We dropped down below it, bounced up above the 50 simple moving average, came up, pretty much same chart configuration, right? And then we touched the 4 EMA right here, and we have closed up above it. So we're above the 4 EMAs, so still in that bullish trend at the moment. When we pull it back on a weekly chart for the Dow Jones, right, we made up all the gains that we lost last week, right? We made up all those gains. Let's look at it for the SPY as well. Many times, the further you pull it out, you'll see, right, so we came and we closed right at resistance on this chart. And when we look at our monthly, we've gained on the SPY, right? Because this was our first downtrend month. Obviously, it was the first month of the year, but over the past couple months, right? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're in that 6th month, so it's okay that we had that little bit of a correction to come back to the averages and then go a bit further. We are butting up against that resistance, so we shall see if we go further. When we go back to that daily chart, you can see we have this trend line down here, and we have this upper trend line up here. So we could be going, you know, far up. If we break up here, I wouldn't be surprised, 336, 338, 340 area. And depending on how long it takes, you know, if we go and have this massive run up from here, we could be hitting 350 in just about 2 weeks or less. So it depends on if we have that melt up like Tesla, or if we are going to be, you know, breaking down from here. Hello, Samuel Romero. Awesome. Thanks so much for joining me today. Okay, not sure if you're taking requests, but if any thoughts on FDX nasty squeeze on Fluff News Friday. 163 seems like the destination. I'm going to write it down for you, CoinFox, and we will look at it. But let me go ahead and go through my my watch list for the week that I have set up. Actually, if you guys don't know, this is TradingView. It's awesome. So I will just go through here, and let me just delete out the ones that I had from the past. This is all old stuff, so I will just delete it really quickly. It's so much easier when I have it right here on the right, just to click right through. All right, and I love TradingView because as a mom of 2, getting my work done, setting up my charts in the morning, and then trading, say even from the gym or grocery store line, I have it available right at my fingertips, the same charts. So I love it for that reason. Whereas many brokers, they don't have the same charts. Okay, oh, and then... and I'm putting FDX on there for you, CoinFox, so we can get to it at the end. All right, so potential longs for this week. Let's go to our 15-minute chart here. Let's remove all past drawings. So what I really like to do is I like to look at it on the 15-minute chart. Okay, so it looks like this has really been resistance that happened on Friday right there, right? Like a glass ceiling, and then it looks like we came down, tested, and found support right here. When we look back on a yearly chart, so this did have earnings, right? And it was the first green day. You can see once you pull it back onto that daily time frame, you can see how many times did it act as resistance. 1. That was the 161 EMA right there. 2, 3. This is the 3rd time that this point is acting at resistance. If we do break above it, I think the first target would be 896, and then we have this gap to fill up to 950. For eGain Corporation. Let's just look back on the 5-year chart just to see. So it's actually, it looks like a pretty strong resistance that's happened for quite some time right here. And you can see how it's also been bouncing off of these averages, right? So we'll see what happens this week, but it's on watch for potentially to the long side. I do say potentially to the long side, and I give you guys both levels because you need to be prepared either way, right? You don't want to jump in and just say, hey, this is going to the moon, or hey, this is dropping to the ground. Trade what the market gives you, right? Okay, So that was our first long. Second long, I do not use robot, Samuel, is CAE. If you guys have been following me for a while, I had CAE on a swing list whenever I had those lines drawn. So look, we have a pretty clear consolidation right here at 30.89. This is 15 minutes, so 15, 30, 45, 1 hour, 2 hours, 2.5 hours, it consolidated right here. That's pretty strong, right? Because we had higher than normal volume, it had earnings, and we're gonna go ahead and put the first point of resistance, I'm gonna go ahead and put it right up here. 31 right here, because we had 45 minutes, right? And then it attempted to test it there. So 31.27, I actually need to fill these in up here as well. So we've got 30.89 and 31.27, right? Oh, I forgot to tell you guys, EGAN has 29 million in the float, so that is somewhat lower float. It could run pretty quickly, and it was 33% short volume on Friday. CAE, which is also, I know this because my husband is a pilot, CAE is where they have all the testing facilities for all of the pilots to go through recurrent training with the simulators. So the fact, I have no idea what the earnings were, but obviously the market liked the earnings. And I know that regulations are about to change in Canada, where they have to have more rest requirements, which means they have to train more pilots. So therefore, they will likely have more income coming in from the airlines. So that might have had positive forward guidance leading to this run up going forward. No idea though. Don't pay attention too much to earnings, just how the market reacts. So 265 million in the float for CAE. And it was 46% short volume. You can see we had this resistance, first resistance here at 29.91, and then again right up here at 30.20, and it broke above that. So moving up from here, we might see, 32 fairly quickly. When we go back on our 5-year chart, let's see, we're just at all-time highs breaking out. So clear skies above, looks like it could be a good one. All right, next one. Now, Nokia. Right? Nokia is sort of in this gap fill area, right? And it had a great day. We did have earnings, as well as the fact that the news many times justifies the move, right? But the news came out saying, hey, we're looking for different alternatives for Huawei for 5G networks. Our two biggest companies that we're looking at are Ericsson and Nokia, right? So that news came out coincidentally right when earnings happened for Nokia. So it could have been an earnings pop, it could have been a news pop, but it came up, and I would look at 436 for support for Nokia, and I would look for 445, 450 area. This is going to be the 200 EMA and the 200 SMA right here. And then we do have this gap to fill up to I'll go all the way back over to this one, this candlestick with a high volume there. So the low of this candlestick was 471. So we could have that move up to 471, and then if it breaks that resistance, who knows? We might go ahead and start clearing all these averages. We're starting to have those averages curl up over the slower moving ones, right? So our 50 has started to curl up, and then if we have that 50 cross over the 200, that's going to be very nice to the upside as a potential longer term holding, especially if this is where we're going to go from here for 5G, as opposed to like Comcast, right? Where everything is sort of leaving the way of the cable world and everything is going to go virtual. So this might be a double top, just selling off just based on those two news. There might be a transfer of wealth in the market going from cabled world to wireless. All right, so Nokia, we got that done. Let's go ahead and look at Uber. Right? So Uber had earnings. A lot of analysts are saying, hey, they are just about to turn a profit. I don't really care what the analysts have to say, right? Let's look at the chart. Okay. So you can see resistance right up here, right? Formed. And look at how this resistance then flipped to be support, right? So we're going to look at it and say, hey, all right. So we've got 39.96, maybe the 40 area, and 40.99 or 41 to the upside. Uber has 848 million in it. It did have that lockup period that expired, and the CEO sold a fair number of shares. Could have just been transfer of wealth. He wanted to put it into another investment firm. Go ahead and take out his money. But we can see next potential resistance might be up here, 41.94. You can see it back here, right? 41.94. It was also the bottom of this candle right over here. And then on up to 43. So this could be that we had the IPO and then all of a sudden it dropped down, and now it's starting to come in. Look at the massive volume that came in down here. I think in many institutions, let me move that back. You can see somebody had to be buying because there's very big movement to the upside here. Again, another big candlestick and we're above it. Here we have a big candlestick. So where are we going to go from here? Is this candlestick going to be more buying that's going to push us up, or is it going to push us down? You really want to pay attention to the volume at the bottom because the volume is going to be what drives the price action. All right, and Uber, 35% short volume on Friday. All right, Synaptics. Let's go ahead and get rid of those lines. So Synaptics is having an all-time breakout, right? Earnings as well. I love looking at the earnings because many times you will see that they will have a 3-day run. When you're trading in a cash account, it takes 3 days really for something to settle. You have the trade date plus 2 days, and then it's in your account, right? So especially for the cash side when you sell it. So Syna, 81.59 for support down here. And then we also are going to have resistance of 84.75. This does have 32.5 million. So again, on that lower float range. And you can see we've also got an ascending wedge right here. Let's do a little drawing. Maybe it'd be better if I just draw, right? So we got a straight line here, as straight as I can get it, and ascending wedge, right? So we've got the volume going up here. We've got volume, with the earnings right here, and it's going up. So we're looking really for that 85 to be broken. We can go back to the 5-year chart, and it acted as resistance in the past, way back in 2016. So next potential area, you can see all these selling wicks above that 85 area. So maybe up to the 90 range from here, 88, maybe 87.50, maybe $2.50 increments, and then 90, and then on up here, 95 area. So keep it on watch. All right, potential shorts. AGCO. Oh, let's put on our 15-minute chart. All right. Now this one was an earnings loser, right? So that can also be, to the flip side, 3 days of selling. Sometimes you'll start to see the big guys coming in with that volume like we did on Uber when it had the lockup period that expired, right? So I would look for this area that was prior support to act as resistance for a potential short. If it's broken, potentially an upside move. Next level to watch would be right up here at 68 from there. When we look at it on our yearly chart, you can see it's come back. This has been an area of resistance and support in the past again. So we might have a bigger sell-off on the second day coming up to see. So just keep it on watch. It's looking a little oversold on RSI. Commodity channel index is down at 152. Sometimes you'll see that go all the way down to 200. You also have to look at the personality of the stock. Now AGCO is 61.8 million in it. I don't do the short float volume on stocks that are potential shorts because I'm looking for really that information in going long because I want to see if we're going to have a short squeeze that's going to happen, which we'll look at with FedEx. All right, next one, BDX. Again, this has a bit of an H pattern, which I'll show you guys. So right here, got that resistance level and support level right down here at 240. Whoop, let's go like this. 246.64. All right, so we can also see that we've broken below most of the moving averages. This one had a big high volume doji day, and what happened? This was right at the 200 simple moving average. We have dropped below, and really it's pretty clear below. I would say next area to test would be down here at 241.30, right? And then after 241.30, over here at 236, then potentially down to 233 area. All right, this one does have 269 million in the float. Let me just get our levels written in here. So 246.64 for support and 250.44. All right, next potential short. We have Peloton. So Peloton was an IPO back in October, and then it skyrocketed up once it broke above the high right there, which look, we are testing right at the high of the IPO day, right? Obviously, we don't have all the averages because we just got the 50 simple moving average here, so we don't have a 200 moving average. So looking at it, we've broken below. We don't even have we have a 90 simple moving average that also just started right here. But looking at it on a 15-minute chart, we had a bit of buying power there. You could see because of that upward wick, right? So I would look for the support of 2743 to be broken to the downside, and a resistance level right there, 2793. All right, we'll pull it back on our daily 1 year, right? So you can see, look at that, how it stopped. Pretty much that point of resistance is right there at the high of the IPO day. And that also acted a bit as support here when we had the hammer down at the bottom, and then it ran up and held above the averages. Then we had earnings on the 5th, right? So that was the third day. So this could be a bounce zone as well. That's why I say potential longs and potential shorts, because they're probably going to have large movement coming up, but you want to be prepared either way. With trading, you got to be nimble, right? Okay. Next potential short, SNA or Snap-on Inc. for a tool company. And sometimes you want to look at the sectors too. Hey, what's going on with this sector? What's going on? You know, you don't necessarily want to short the strongest stock in a sector because it's probably going to have a lot of people buying into it. All right, so SNA, we've got support of 155.35 and resistance of 156.53. Does have 51.5 million in it. So it came down, we had a support area here. This day you can see had more buying power, right? Because it had that buying wick at the bottom. And with the earnings day, this was day 1, day 2. So are we going to break down further from here? Potentially test 153.28. And then if we go lower, 151.40. It does have 51 million in the float. All right, so let's go forward with form. Okay, awesome, Samuel. I'll let you know. Thanks. Have a great day. All right. I really love it when you guys contribute and ask your questions. It makes it much more interesting, too, for me. I like helping everybody, so. All right. I'm going to put it right up here at this 200 simple moving average on the... Oh, I meant to make this green here. All right, look at that. This obviously was a prior one on my list. All right, so potential downside for form factor. We can see this is going to be our 50 simple moving average right here. It tested as support in the past, back on the 31st. They had earnings. It tested again, high volume doji, came down. Yet we've closed below the 50 simple moving average. So if we do go ahead, we can close right there. I might even go ahead and put a secondary support level to be broken. This could be the first target, and then next potential level down of 25.04, right? So if it breaks up and goes long, I would say take profit potentially up at 26.78 because that might be your resistance zone. And then same thing, if you go short, potentially take some profit down at 25. Also, that round number in people's brains will hold as a volume level. All right, let me just put that over here, 25.46 and 26.06. All right, now we're going to get into potential swings. So we have TNAV, right? So TNAV, I have this here, had it on my watch list on Friday. And and you can see it gapped up big time after earnings, but almost hit the 200 simple moving average and then pulled back. No surprise that there maybe was a bit of resistance in selling right there, right? But we might have the averages catching up for it to go ahead and then fill the gap. We had this resistance back here, right? So that's 704, no wonder, right? But then if we go ahead and we break that, we could be going up to 774, then on up to 818, 850 area, and then maybe on up the hill again. So potential longer term swing on that one. Also, the next one for the potential longer term swing is pay sign. So really we've had just like if I do a little trend, oh, that's not what I meant to do. I meant to do a trend line for you guys. Here we go. Right? So this could be coming up to test this trend area right here. So I would keep it on watch for potential longer term movement, as well as it's got to break above the averages, right? We're testing the 20 simple moving average. If you guys know Bollinger Bands at all, Mr. Bollinger did set it up with the 20 simple moving average as the midline. So if you think of statistics with the bell curve, the midline is the middle of that bell curve. When you go outside of it, outside of the Bollinger Bands, that's the outliers, right? And it tends to always come back to the middle. So looking for it, if it breaks the 20 as well, that's also going to be an indication to me it might be going more bullish. Then we have the 50 simple moving average. It's got to go above the 50 simple moving average as well. All right, Dropbox, another one. We have broken that trend for Dropbox, right? So if we've got this here, I like to really use the tops of the wicks because obviously there was selling up there, right? So we broke above it, higher than normal volume on this break above for Dropbox. We can get rid of all these lines up here. That was old when it was going down the hill, right? So looking for it to go ahead and continue on up. I would say potentially resistance right here at 1972, $20, and then on up this 21 area. If we can break above 21, you know, it's sort of a cup and handle back here, but then we've got another one double bottom right here. So it could be breaking out. We've got that area right there, 1890, that's going to be tough to break as well. Look at all that consolidation back there. All right, and let's look at FedEx for you CoinFox. And Peloton. Yeah, Peloton might trade sideways. There might be some big guys getting into it or not. All right, so good eye on FedEx here, CoinFox. Look at that higher than normal volume, right? Now, we had earnings back in December. So when we move forward, our earnings, we've got earnings a little bit further out, March 17th. So that's good. We've got about a month before earnings. You can see how it came up and it kept testing the green cross line right here. So 157.92 and 159.67, that's probably going to be resistance. And then you've got the 200 exponential moving average up here at 162.86. So that was really where it couldn't break above, right? So even if we do run up, I would say that would be potential target in my opinion for profit taking. It does look like we're in the upward momentum. However, every time that it sold off in the past, let me turn it on down here. We can see what was this was 190 for the channel commodity index, and we're at 185.80 right now. This one had a bit of a pullback right here. It was at 174.96. Didn't get as high right here at 149. So looking back at the past, I don't use these indicators as reasons to get in, more not to get in. So it looks like the highest was back here at 199.42. But the momentum is curling up. We've got a lot of indications that it's going up. It's broken above the 50 simple moving average, but we're really far away right here from our faster moving averages. So it might come back down. It might be better to enter down here, let it pull back about $4 if you're considering to the upside, and then going back up. It might butt up against the 50 simple moving average again and then sell off. So we'll see. It's got some averages in the way. So I hope that helped you guys. I hope you have an amazing week this week. Trade with proper risk management, carpe profit, trade, seize those profits one trade at a time. And I would love to see you at the Modern Trader Summit or also in New York at the CMT Symposium. Have a great week ahead. Bye, guys.